I want to get right to the heart of this issue of the House potentially impeaching President Trump. Let's talk about the constitutional basis of impeachment. What is the necessary threshold to even do that?
Well, the framers were very careful. They did not want to have a British government where you can have the government fall if you don't have a majority support in the parliament. And there was a big debate. And one of the framers said, why don't we just say maladministration in office? And they turned that down. And instead, they added the terms treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. And I think you have to take the Constitution literally. It requires a crime, a serious crime, a high crime, not the kind of crime that Bill Clinton was accused of committing. That was a low crime. And there's a great story that illustrates that. When Hamilton was Secretary of the Treasury, he was seduced by a woman into having an adulterous affair, a felony, serious felony. And then he had to pay extortion to keep it secret. But then the extortionist accused him of taking the money from the Treasury funds. That would have been a high crime. And so he had to write an essay denying that, because he knew that if he had taken money from the Treasury, high crime, adultery, extortion, low crime, one is impeachable, the other is not. Hamilton wrote the Federalist Papers about impeachment. He ought to know about which he speaks.
When Bill Clinton was impeached by the House back in 1998, it did not go well for the Republicans. They pushed it. They were able to get the impeachment articles passed. It went to the Senate and fell apart there, as would an impeachment against Donald Trump. And the very next week, Bill Clinton had the highest approval numbers of his career. Would the Democrats basically be doing Donald Trump a big favor by impeaching him?
Well, they would not be doing the American public a favor. When the Clinton impeachment went forward, the stock market went down, America's credibility was hurt around the world. It hurts America when you violate the Constitution and put partisan politics over the constitutional mandates. Would it help Trump? Probably it would. It would probably solidify his base. It would be a very stupid thing to do. Look, the Democrats have a problem. They have a group of extreme radical leftists who are elected in small districts that are very radical in terms of their composition, but they don't reflect the typical American voter. And to the extent that they give in to these extremists, they shoot themselves in the foot. They destroy any possibility of winning the 2020 election. And I think the leaders, the adults in the room, like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, understand that. They don't want impeachment. On the other hand, they don't want to alienate the hard left base of the party. But they have to make some choices. And the choice has to be to marginalize hard left radical socialists who don't care particularly about America's standing in the world, who care much more about pleasing their own radical constituencies.
Professor, I think it's fair to say that on the political spectrum, you're a liberal. You have been a long time. You're certainly to the left of me, but then again, most people are. So I guess that would be fair enough. But my point is this. You're not speaking here as a big Trump supporter, a Republican, somebody trying to defend the right wing of America. You're speaking as a constitutional professor and expert. Are the Democrats listening to you? Are they listening and saying, boy, we might better take this? Are they mad at you right now?
They're mad at me. Look, you remember, I originally wanted to write the book called The Case Against Impeaching Hillary Clinton, because some Republicans were saying that if Hillary Clinton got elected, they would move her impeachment the first day. I actually have a cover that my publisher produced called The Case Against Impeaching Hillary Clinton. But when Trump was elected, I just changed a few words. I wrote the same book. The Constitution is the same for Clinton and for Trump. But if I had written the book, The Case Against Impeaching Hillary Clinton, they'd be building statues to me in Democratic areas on Martha's Vineyard. Instead, I'm now a pariah because my arguments, which are identical, help Donald Trump rather than helping Hillary Clinton.
Without a doubt, one of the reasons I've always had great respect for you is because when it comes to the Constitution and the law, you are agnostic politically. You are a purist. You disregard your own views, and I think that's one of the greatest traits that you bring to any discussion. But why is that so difficult for some of the members of the House to understand? And it would just seem that this would be a very reasonable acceptance that They don't like the election, but the way to fix it is the next election, not impeachment.
In a democracy, that's the recourse. Look, the Democrats did very well in the 2018 House because they came up with programs that the American people preferred. But the idea of going to impeachment, which the Constitution has as an absolute last resort, instead of trying to win the election on the merits. Look, I don't think there ever should have been a special counsel appointed. I think there should have been a bipartisan commission of experts to look into the Russian influence, not only on this election, but on past elections and future elections, with the goal to do something to stop Russia from trying to influence elections. Instead, we have a special counsel, and there's finger-pointing, secret hearings, one-sided report will be presented, and the American public will learn very, very little, and very little will be done to stop Russia from intruding on future elections if they choose to do that.
As always, you make it plain and simple, and for an attorney to be able to do that, I would say is an extraordinary gift. Alan Dershowitz, thank you so much for being with me. Our thanks to Professor Alan Dershowitz for reminding us that we are a nation of laws. And his brand new book is called The Case Against the Democratic House, Impeaching Trump. It is available now at Amazon.com or your favorite bookseller. And if you're thinking you know something about impeachment, I suggest you read his book because you will know a lot more, and you'll know it from the master of the Constitution. You can also follow him on Twitter at Alan Dersh. It's on your screen.